Good morning from Dayton, Ohio, where the NCAA tournament is over before it began for the Boise State basketball team. For a brief moment in time, the Broncos had the floor all to themselves, slow dancing with the prettiest girl of all, that elusive first tourney win. But when the lights came on, Boise State went home alone. Welcome to the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, home of the 2015 Mountain West basketball tournaments. Just down this hall lies a 94-foot by 50-foot slab of hardwood, freshly oiled and brightly lit. It will host 19 games this week. 11 women's teams and 10 men's teams will take that floor, all chasing a championship and an automatic berth to the NCAA tournament. Welcome back to the University of Dayton Arena, home of the Boise State Broncos. Yes, you heard me correctly. You can disregard the signage, ignore the flyer-friendly crowd, and forget about the team that went undefeated on this floor. Boise State is the designated home squad for its first 4 game in Dayton. It's media day for Boise State and Dayton. I'll preview the matchup. Plus, a new job opening at Boise State. Find out why Leon Rice wants a food taster. Coming up at Sports. After Boise State was bounced from the Mountain West tournament, Coach Rice stuck alongside his prize scorer. "We dance with the one who brought us," he quipped. Now that they're here in Dayton, Derek's next dance will be the big one.
Now this was the Roadster Show's 43rd year in Boise.
Who needs cars when you got wallabies, mate?
That's a really impressive accent.
I've been spending a lot of time with the Aussies on the Boise State basketball team because, well, pretty big news from them today. Coming up, the Broncos get a do-over in Dayton. You'll hear what Leon Rice thinks about having to face the hometown Flyers on their own floor. Next in Sports.
You may remember back in January, Boise State went to Wyoming and lost that game in Laramie. It was the Broncos' 4th straight defeat, and it looked like the Mountain West season might be over. But somehow BSU was resurrected and managed to win all but one game the entire rest of the way. The Broncos had a chance to beat the only team they hadn't beaten in conference play tonight, but were unable to do so. Derek Marks, you danced with the one that brought you there. That was Leon Rice's sentiment after Boise State's loss to Wyoming in the Mountain West tournament. Tonight, the Broncos danced with Marks, who scored a game-high 23 points, but the last 6 or 7 possessions of tonight's game will haunt him for the rest of his basketball career.
Paul, real quick, before you go, how big a deal was it that Dayton played on its home court? Everybody's been talking about it. Does the NCAA committee look at changing this?
Well, I mean, maybe. There's a reason that this hasn't happened since 1987. I mean, there were 12,500 some fans in that arena, and about 12,400 are rooting for Dayton, and that's if you include the Boise State family members that were out there in support of the team. It was definitely a road game for Boise State, and they tried not to make excuses in the build-up to this one, saying that they'd won a lot of big games on the road this year, and they had, but the NCAA tournament isn't supposed to be about going on the road and picking up wins. It's supposed to be a neutral site tournament, and that definitely wasn't the case tonight.
Now, let me ask you about Derek Marks. You know, he really didn't get much help, did he? I mean, he had 23 points on the night, and he was pretty much the scoring machine for the Broncos, and there wasn't anything else.
Well, actually, Montego Alford was really the spark plug in the first half when he came off the bench after Iggy Hadziomierovich got into foul trouble. Alford hit 3 threes. That is his career high for 3-point shots. He finished with 11 points. He hit 2 big free throws down the stretch that kept Boise State in it in the final minutes. But Alford was really the reason that Boise State took a 9-point lead into halftime, and then Marks took over in the second half. But when you put that much weight on a guy's shoulders, he's bound to falter eventually. Dayton just started double-teaming him, and he started to force up shots that he shouldn't have been forcing up.